A very good morning. Welcome to this edition of Morning at NTV's Big Story. It's the 9th day of January 2017. My name is Simon Kasiate. This morning, well, we're going to wrap in so many things in one sheet, just like we do it with the Rolex. Have the best, which is the chapati, have a fried egg, and in there you can sprinkle in so many things, from nakati to minced meat to beans to everything in there. And at the end of the day, you are serving a sumptuous meal that should be devoured tremendously. Now, what am I talking about? This morning, I have the pleasure of having the Vice Chairperson of the Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises, or what many of you call COSASE. Her name is the Honorable Anita Among. And she's here to, just thump and, of course, gloat about the performance of this committee of COSASE, which, by the way, in the 10th Parliament, carries the kudos on their shoulders. Let's give credit where it's due. However, we are having this conversation with her in the face of another state enterprise, or is it a statutory authority that seems to be in the eye of the storm after the so-called golden presidential handshake. And we're going to ask whether COSASE will have them as their next client. And I was joking with her earlier on that you may have a certain constant figure. You have had a running time with Allen Kajina for your UNRA, and she must have been very glad to invite her former colleagues, especially those who are in the position she occupies in UNRA, to come and answer a few questions. Now, when you invite the Commissioner General, Doris Akol, she may also be with the pleasure of inviting her predecessor. And at the end of it all, you'll have the constant face of Kajina before COSASE. And I don't think we will have anything new for the new year, because we'll be looking at old wine, perhaps in new bottles. But that said, what are we talking about this morning? We're talking about the performance of oversight committees in Parliament, and very specifically COSASE. At the infancy of this Parliament, the 10th Parliament, do we expect to have the same fire going forward, or is it the usual cycle? First 2 years, you are virulent and bad like they all come, and then eventually you begin to realize that you have a constituency to keep feeding and shaking their hands, and at the end of the day, you fizzle away and cut some slack, and at the end of the day, the taxpayer, you and I, continue to lose billions of shillings in money that's unaccounted for in dubious activities. We'll be right back. Welcome to the program, and Happy New Year, Honorable.
Happy New Year. Good morning, and good morning, viewers.
You had a good festive season, you've rested enough, you are now ready to hit the road running at Parliament, right?
Yes, we are.
So what's going to be the order of business as soon as you get to Parliament? Let's start from there.
We are resuming tomorrow, 10th January 2017. That's when plenary is resuming. And it's upon that we shall be able to go back to our committee work. Definitely we shall have a committee work on Wednesday.
Do you want to share with us what you suspect will be the work that you'll be doing on Wednesday?
No, we are going to have a meeting within the members of COSASE. We are going to do a work plan on which statutory bodies we are going to attend to. Of course, we have the most recent one of URA. That should be one of the first things that we are going to handle.
Let's say this again. You're being very diplomatic, and this is not unlike you, Honorable Anita. You are saying you are maybe one of those first ones, or clearly you are going for the jugular of you.
We are going to have a number of statutory bodies before us. We always have, say, like 8 of them. We handle like 8 of them. Concurrently. So we are going to make a work plan on which one we are going to start with. And it's most likely that we are going to start with Uganda Revenue Authority. I'll
come back to that a bit later when we are looking at the prognosis of what you intend to do later. But let's go back to the kind of work you've been doing in the last couple of months, where indeed you've made it to incredible newspaper and TV headlines as doing an incredible job. You have managed to expose to this country the kind of dubious activities that the Uganda National Roads Authority was engaged in. You have, in fact, also gone ahead to redeem monies from Chinese banks, and these Chinese contractors have returned money. You've saved the taxpayer from losing so much money. So can we also, by extension, assume, therefore, after such a good work, you are also going to demand for a presidential golden handshake, like you always do anyway as members of Parliament?
No, we don't do that as members of Parliament. We get whatever we are supposed to earn. And I don't think we are going to earn for a presidential handshake, because that is within our mandate to do our work. We've recovered a lot of money from Chinese, from all those kind of people, but we are not going to recover. We are not going to ask for It's because a handshake.
So sorry, this may not be meant for you, but I'm just reminding you that viewers are not suffering from any form of amnesia. They recall that soon after your swearing in, those in the NRM, for example, you are not one of them, you are an independent member of parliament, formerly FDC. I don't know which color you are now in terms of political shade.
I'm an independent member
The
of
president
parliament.
did offer some 5 million shillings to, buy a few suits and all that, which was more like a handshake for winning. I am also told that not so long ago, you were given some 200 million shillings for cars from the president, which may appear to be a presidential handshake. The other day, the president did put pen to paper and say, you know what, exempt my good members of parliament from paying taxes. And Ugandans actually think, if they say that's not even a presidential handshake, that's a presidential hug. How we would love to be exempt from taxes. So, is it true, therefore, that you only earn what you deserve?
The 5 million, I'm not sure of it because I never got it. The 200 million, we were given 100 million. We are entitled to cars. We are the second arm of government, and all of us are entitled to cars. Just like you see, judges are given cars, everybody, the PSs are given cars, all those kind of people are given cars. Even priests are given cars, bishops are given cars. So for us, it's our entitlement to have cars. A car of 200 million is a very small car, very lousy car. But we're given 100 million first.
My colleague Joel drives one of single-digit millions. So I think when he hears 200 million, she's 3 digits of
no, we're given
I can imagine how small his car is. I hope he can stretch his legs in there. But well,
we were first given 100 million to deposit on a car. It's just prudent enough that we have cars to help us move here. It's unquestionable.
No one is doubting that. But we are simply saying that for us appears more like a presidential handshake.
It's not.
And so on one hand, you're receiving presidential handshakes. On the other hand, you're grandstanding and creating all this buzz around you, like you're doing an incredible job as a committee, an oversight committee of parliament. How are you able to balance the two seemingly antagonistic faces?
It's not a presidential handshake. We must remove it because we are entitled to it. It's our right. It's not like we are getting money outside what we are expected to do. You find like the presidential handshake we are talking about, I know you're meaning the 6 billion shillings of URA. That was wrong. Even if the president wrote a letter saying that these people should be given money, that was a political letter.
That's wrong in your opinion?
In our opinion. That's taxpayers' money.
You are speaking for who? When you say our opinion, who are you speaking for?
For my people in Bukedea.
Or maybe, but I know other people who think that's a very good
For
thing.
me, it is wrong, and my people of Bukedea, I believe it is wrong
but
too.
they cannot all be unanimous on that. They possibly could be.
I represent all the people of Bukedea.
Well, let's go back to the work, of course. I say you have done an incredible job.
Thank you.
You have put government authorities and enterprises on the pedestal, UBC being one of those, UNRA being one of those. You have also, tasked the Civil Aviation Authority. I could mention them for all I care. However, while you're doing that stellar job, some people continue to poke holes in your performance and accuse you for the usual malaise that continues to be there for this country. Corruption. They think that you may be doing a good job, but perhaps only for the cameras and newspaper headlines. But the truth of the matter, the underlying currents, you're also just deal cutting. Is that a fair comment or criticism?
Incidentally, that is expected. What they've even spoken is less, because we expected them to speak more than that. We are doing work for this country. We are trying to protect the taxpayers' money. And if they are saying we are deal cutting, we wouldn't be able to recover all those monies from these people. And I don't see why we should go on to deal cutting. It is just in history that it's this COSASE that has recovered monies from people who are trying to defraud the country. And we are not bothered about it. We are going to continue doing our work irrespective of whatever people say.
Wow, that's an incredible statement, and that's an avowal of your continued determination. But let me put it to you this way. Obviously, in the course of doing your work, you face a number of challenges.
Yes.
May we share with us some of those challenges? You get threats, for example. You get, indeed, inducements from folks coming to you and offering bribes and all sorts of things. What are some of the challenges you face? Yeah,
of course, we get a lot of challenges from both internal and external. We get people like the ones who interact with the witnesses coming with the offers. They want to give you, they want to negotiate with you and tell you, why don't we kill this kind of case and do that kind of thing. You get anonymous calls warning you telling you, why are you doing this to us? You think you are the first member of parliament. We shall see whether you will come back to parliament. But of course, once you're committed to doing something, we are doing what is expected of us. And we promised that this is Kisanja Kona Mchezo. We shall clean it.
Clean it, indeed. So let me just put it this way. So far, do you, for example, have a target of, in your work plan that you talked about, do you have a target of we will recover so much, or you will say we will probe the following institutions and recover as much? Normally, how do you go at it?
We cannot have a work plan that we shall recover this amount of money, but we are looking at institutions. They come with institutions. If we have a problem with institutions, just like we had in UNRWA, we said we'll recover what is lost in UNRWA, what is misappropriated in UNRWA, what we think should have not been spent, but it has been spent in a reckless way. So like now, if we went to another institution, say for instance URA, we shall also say if there is any problem in URA, we'll recover that. And of course, we base on Auditor General's report, and we also get whistleblowers' reports. Yes, when we get anything from a whistleblower, we follow it up, and if it is correct, then we act on it.
Honorable Anita Amongi,
yes.
There is also a school of thought that believes that while you are at it doing an incredible job, you are such a disruption to the flow of good work. I'll give an example of UNRWA. Alan Kajina has just come into office. She's trying to clean house and make things move and try to do everything possible. But guess what? She spent more time in your parliamentary committee room than a boardroom. She spends her time thinking, dreaming, and hallucinating about Anita Mong and Abdul Katunta and the questions they are going to put before them, and NTV cameras glaring, than thinking critically of how she can transform Uganda National Roads Authority into an astute organization, than even putting down bitumen on the road to have the Bukedea roads, for example, macadamized. So don't you think that sometimes you waste a lot of valuable time probing the past, and you affect how the future progresses?
Incidentally, we don't waste time. In our committee, we are not a prosecuting committee. We do help these institutions to perform. Without engaging Alan Kajina in that kind of engagement that we had with her for over a month, she wouldn't know the problems she had in the institution. And I am so happy in our exit meeting, she was able to appreciate that I have learned a lot. We are only doing a service to the institution. We are not wasting their time.
Really?
No.
I don't know if my figure is anything to go by, but I think URA's target is 1.3 trillion or 13 trillion to collect this financial year. I don't know how they are faring so far mid-term, but clearly I know for the next 2-3 months they're going to spend it in your courses. They're trying to explain 6 billion.
No, but if I could cut you short, there are institutions that spend only 3-4 days with us. It depends on the gravity of your issues.
Wait a minute. Don't try to be cunning on your URA. I can bet they will not spend 3 days with you, unless you talk about 3 weeks or 3 months. But clearly they're going to spend quite a long time with you. Going back again to now looking at how you intend to progress for the future as a committee. Obviously, you have bipartisan composition. You've got folks who are in there, your own members, who subscribe to different political parties, and sometimes the political overtones come into play. How are you able to move as a solidarity bloc with one clear focus without the political colors trying to clash with each other, so to speak?
Incidentally, the committee of COSASE, one achievement we have got is teamwork. We don't recognize parties in the COSASE, not at all. It's about COSASE and the good of this country. We do not, there is nobody who says I subscribe to NRM, FDC, independence. No. We are working for COSASE and for this country and for that parliament.
Well,
that's why you find when we presented our first report, there was no minority report. We're all in agreement with whatever we're doing. And as leadership of COSASE, we believe in consultation. We always consult our members and say, what do we do? We don't take decisions on our own. It is a committee decision.
Well, I'll conclude our conversation this morning to look at you privately and your political ambitions and all sorts of things. So you were in Kosase. I know not long ago you're a member of the FDC. They mistreated you in one way or another. You showed up as an independent. You won the seat. You are now in parliament. You're doing an incredible job. I have the opportunity now to meet you this morning. I could just ask you, where do you see yourself politically in the next, let's look at the medium term, by the end of these 5 years and going forward.
Maybe just a point of correction. I wasn't mistreated from FDC. But because my voters said they wanted me to stand independent, I had to stand independent.
I don't want to go into that discussion, but what I know is I commend you for that political that political statement. You are an incredible politician. Oh my, oh my. So, future.
I'm doing what my voters expect of me. And I'm happy that they're happy that I'm doing what is expected of me.
I know this is a terrible question. One day for a politician is such a long time. I'm asking you for 5 years.
5 years. When I was campaigning, I had a manifesto, which I must fulfill before we finish the 5 years.
Build more bridges where there are no rivers.
No, I'm not a government. I'm not.
That's what you members of parliament tell us when you are campaigning.
Not government to do
Put up
that.
bursary funds, buy us ambulances, repair leaking roofs of churches.
But you can do something that that can help the community, and that's what exactly I'm doing. And I'm still in Bukeria for 20 years. No big deal.
Hey.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So a 25-year-old ambitious Bukedia lady who is completing her studies at Makerere University with the ambition of being an MP.
I'm still in Bukeria.
She had better wait for 40 years.
No, I'm still in Bukeria for 20 years.
I love that. We have to conclude on this note. Thank you so much, the Honorable Anita Among, the Vice Chairperson of the Committee on Commissions, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises, Kosase, for joining us this morning. We are looking at you with a hawk eye view in the next couple of days on how you handle the big challenges of the day as we know them, and we can only wish you the very best. And we as taxpayers, I must tell you, we are counting on you to save us from the usual hemorrhage of our resources.
Thank you.
For the viewers, it's been a pleasure having you on this conversation morning at NTV's Big Story on this first day, or on this 9th day of January 2017, the first day of the week. We now believe that having set the stage like she has done this morning, our dear guest, we believe that the rest of the week will be an incredible one with such incredible conversations, and we are counting on you to be a part of them as we go forward. Same place, same time tomorrow. Good morning.